All right, good morning, everyone. We are back live streaming with the one and only Alex Deacon, broker, investor in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So, good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Mark. How are you today?
I am good. As you can tell, I'm a little maybe allergies or whatnot. I can tell it's getting to fall season out here. The weather's changing a little bit. So, yeah, a little bit of a runny nose, but I'm fine. So yeah, well, I think it was maybe about 2 weeks ago now, or 3 weeks ago, maybe. Yeah, the in-person meetup that Jack from Jack's
Oh
Business
yeah, it
Talk.
was probably three or 4 weeks. Time flies.
Yeah, so maybe give us a quick recap. I know you spoke at that event, and what did you think about it?
It was a good event. I've spoken at many events. I used to have a lot of every quarter I'd have like a training type of thing, and we'd talk about just investing and real estate. Question Q&A is really what I like to do. But that's basically what it was. It was just a lot of Q&A. Um, what do I like to buy? What are the hot areas? What's a good return on investment? Some of the stories that I have about managing your properties. It was a lot of Q&A, and it was fun. I enjoyed it, and there was a lot of good speakers too. I learned some things about AI. There was one guy there who was an investor, but he was talking about how he uses AI in his everyday. His business was he's in New York, and he has something to do with a window repair. So he does a pretty good business in window repair, and he uses AI to schedule appointments and uh, check with the prospects. Are they going to be home and things like that? That helps automate things. And I kind of opened up my eyes, so maybe start to look into that because that's a lot of what we do is just follow up. And if we can automate that, that's great. Even any business, I guess, would be worthwhile. And then there was a landscaper guy there. I'm actually going to meet with him. He's going to do a podcast with me. He has some properties, and he seemed to be really knowledgeable about landscaping, which is surprising. I'm like, oh, there's some things that this guy knows some things, and I thought it was pretty interesting how important it is. And we talked to this about this before about just trees near a property, how much damage they can cause, and how expensive they can be. And that's one thing that a lot of people don't budget for is that tree is going to get bigger. It's going to cost money to remove. Your insurance company could want it removed. I've had that happen before where, hey, you need to remove this or trim this tree because it poses a liability risk for us as an insurer, and we're going to drop you unless you do that. So it was good. Those are some of the things that I learned and some of the things I talked about.
Yes, so you mentioned the AI. So AI guy is Jasek. He's here in the chat. So he says, yes, hello, Alex, the living legend. So yeah, from what I heard, it was a great event. I wasn't able to attend, but I did catch the live stream that Jack was doing while you guys were presenting. And I think a lot of people really got to see your backstory, who you are. I think, maybe you can dig into it a little bit, but a lot of what I think people liked also was you basically saying, you've been in it long enough. You don't trust anyone. You're kind of straight to the point, that type of stuff. So maybe you can kind of dig into that and where that comes from, being in the business for so long.
I just think a good rule of thumb is it's not that I don't trust anyone. It's just I don't trust anyone. Just because I've been um, misled so many times, typically from tenants, and unfortunately, you just have to when you review an application, you have to ask questions you normally wouldn't ask. It's just not all about credit score. It's not all about work history. There's a lot of in between the lines that you have to learn how to navigate through to get to the real reason why they're moving. And it's unfortunate that you have to act like that and you have to be like that, but you have to be kind of a part-time detective when you're screening tenants because like I've been burned by church pastors, old ladies, young kids, black, white, doesn't matter. You just have to be careful. So, if I could say one thing to a new investor or even a seasoned investor, treat it like a business. Don't believe anything a tenant tells you, and back it up with, just back it up. Have backup either by text or by email, just so you're covered. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people got a little chuckle out of when you're talking about that at the event. But the event itself, like you said, you folks, I think you said quarterly, your company may have had events or you've gone to events. But what should someone that does attend an in-person meetup, what should they be looking to try and get out of it?
As much as possible. Take notes. I've been doing this for 32 years, and I've learned some things that there was only about 10 people there, and I learned some things just being around 10 people and who aren't as experienced as I am. So be open, always be open to learning. Don't think you know everything, because you don't. At the end of the day, you're just a speck in this universe. So don't get too, just don't take yourself too seriously, but treat this like a business. It is serious, but it's not that serious too in the same respect. I mean, uh, I don't know. Did I answer your question, or did I go off on a tangent with that one?
Oh, I mean, yeah, like I said, live streaming is a little bit different, right? You got to just be able to, uh, off the top of your head, kind of what you're thinking about. But no, yeah, I think that's definitely what it is, right? It's everyone might go to an event looking for different things depending on where they're at
Yeah,
in
I'm
their
sorry.
journey.
Take notes, like I said, and be open to learning. And network with people there. I'm meeting with the landscaping guy because I was pretty interested, and and I'll probably call the gentleman who does the AI. He impressed me too, and might get some tips and pointers from him, not related to real estate, but maybe I'll help him find something in the future here. Maybe not, but yeah, network and be open to, like, you're very good at networking and putting things together, and that's really important. If you're never going to want to open up your mouth, you're afraid to pick up the phone, you're afraid to start a conversation, and you're not open to learning, then you're just going to reduce the amount of time. You're going to increase the amount of time it's going to take you to get to where you need to get to, because you need people, you need information, you need to be open minded and learning based, um, and just open.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's, to the flip side of that, some people may not be as, well in the connecting or networking side. So I think that's what I'm trying to bring to help the community maybe get themselves out there. Like me and Mikey, since we are investing in Pittsburgh, these other people that may be interested, we're trying to form that connection there already and make the transition easier if other people do want to invest there. I do see Frank, old guy REI, tuning in. He says, Alex, great shirt. Mustangs are one true muscle car, 64 to 69, of course. He says Boomer
Nice.
Nation. He says Boomer Nation.
Beautiful. Yeah, I like the new stuff, but I've owned a couple, but ultimately I want to get, like, it's called a GT 500, and they're quite expensive, but someday that's my dream Mustang.
Because actually, you were a mechanic at first, right? If I remember correctly,
Right.
that's your
Yeah.
right.
Out of high school, I was a mechanic. I did that for about 6 years, and then the mechanic next to me, he's like, "Hey, I'm buying real estate." I'm like, "What? Oh, wow, that's pretty cool." Okay, so you picked up a book and then listened to him, just started buying stuff, and then eventually I morphed into full-time agent, full-time investor. So by the time I was 29, I was full-time agent, full-time investor.
There was a Sick, the AI guy who you were mentioning earlier, says he's always the stupidest guy in the room, right? So that's kind of his take on it. But I know he's not a stupid guy, but I think sometimes that's maybe the approach you have to go in there, right? That you're there to learn, right?
Yeah, be humble. You don't know everything. Like, people think I'm smart and this and that. I'm like, nah, I'm not really. It's just, you work hard and you're consistent and persistent, and hard work will outbeat someone who's very smart and just lazy. So yeah, if you can outbeat natural talent and with hard work and persistence and being open to learning all day long.
We kind of, me and my guest yesterday talking on the live stream, was kind of about going too fast or moving too quickly. But I think to your point a little bit, sometimes maybe being too smart actually slows you down.
Mm,
Maybe, because you kind of see too many variables, you see too many options. So maybe being too smart actually is a way to prevent you from doing things sometimes.
Yeah. You mean like over and analyzing things?
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Uh,
agree.
there was Joel Farrow's here, lending for entrepreneurs. So I did put his YouTube channel. His is growing pretty quick. He has a new channel, so go subscribe to that, please. I think it's about 400 or so right now. But yeah, so like I said, we're talking about the in-person meetup. A lot of the people there was pretty much from the one rental at a time community, Michael Zuber's one rental at a time school community. So after being around these individuals and working with myself and Mikey and some other people, is there kind of a maybe similar mindset that you can kind of see in the community as far as the investor mindset in a sense?
Is there a similar mindset with all the investors, all the new investors?
Yeah, kind of the strategy. Would you say a lot of us are coming in being very risky or more conservative, the way we analyze deals, kind of what the general sense of working with a
I
lot
don't,
of
I don't
people
think
are?
there's a similar mindset. There's different. Everybody's different. Some people come in hot, too hot, and some people come in too conservative, like they overanalyze their analysis paralysis, the famous quote, and you never do anything. I think you have to find a happy medium where you don't overanalyze things, but you also are cautious too. And as you grow your real estate IQ, uh, the risk is reduced tremendously. So when there's very little risk now when I buy something because I know the upside, I know the downside. So as you become more knowledgeable, risk will be reduced, and then you can come in hot, and you can beat out other investors to good deals because you're more knowledgeable. And really one of the keys is you're going to know which deals to pass on because you can waste your time chasing deals and they're not deals. So you've just wasted 80% of your day chasing a deal that's not a deal. And the guy that knows more than you and is more, his real estate IQ is higher, is going to chase the deals that make sense and he's going to get the better deal. So sometimes not chasing deals is the best thing to help you get to a deal that makes sense. If that makes sense, that whole phrase I just said, if that makes sense.
Yeah, All Nighter Hider says his old boss Keith has a 68 Carl Shelby Correct 350 Cobra Jet Fastback. Very
Wow.
strong car. He would take Mustangs and turn them back into Mustangs.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I think that's kind of like the one that's what's that movie with what's his face where everybody they get
Nicholas Cage, right? That one, I
what's that?
think. Nicholas Cage.
That one, that's a beautiful car. But there's the other movie, the new one with the guy from The Matrix. What's his name?
Oh,
Yeah,
Keanu Reeves?
yeah, that movie, the movie that came out where he's he used to be a oh Christ, I'm bad with
Oh man, I don't even know which one that is.
yeah.
Like
Anyway, that
like the
car,
John Wick films?
John Wick,
Oh,
the
okay.
green Mustang in there is freaking awesome. That's a fastback.
J6 says, yeah, can't learn if you don't take action.
Yeah.
Hey, aloha, Charles. Charles is here. He says, too smart or too pretty can be handicaps. He says, I'm not included. Hyder says, yeah, can't learn the best and most efficient way without taking action.
Yeah, you do have to take action at some point. Just
Uh,
have a lump sum of money that, if you're a very cautious person, just have a lump sum that you're willing to risk and go for it. What's the worst that can happen? That's all. You lose it and you took a shot. You're only on this planet for 29,200 days on
oh,
average.
see, yeah, Liam is tuning in. He says, yeah, John Wick.
Yes.
Yeah, the one I was thinking about, Hyder's, yeah, Gone in 60 Seconds.
Right. That's
Eleanor was a 67, he said.
Eleanor. That's unbelievable looking car. Yeah. Beautiful color scheme too.
Hey, all fired up. Bill is tuning in. Morning. Joel says, love that. Patience. Yeah, very true. Let's see what huh. Oh, here's a great question. So a lot of the people, I know you haven't worked with everyone yet. You've talked to a lot of people in the community, but would you say people in our community are working together, or are we like being competitive with each other?
Are they working together or being competitive? I think both. You have to be competitive. I mean, it's all competition. But also, when that competition comes a lot of camaraderie, it comes a lot of networking. Some deals that appeal to me don't appeal to other investors, and some investors, like when I see a deal, it just doesn't fit me well. I think, why don't you buy it? I get that question all the time. Well, how come you're not buying it? First of all, I can't buy everything because I only have so much money to spend. And two, I'm specific on what I like to buy as far as multifamilies, areas, the ROI, the quality, the average rent, so many different variables. So I can pass some of those deals along to some of the investors I work with. So yes, they're your competition, but they're also an ally.
What qualities make you want to work with certain investors again and again?
Cool. Integrity, responsiveness, having the money. I mean, you don't want to work with investors. I can't work with someone who doesn't have the ability to pull the trigger. That's just plain and simple finances there. But yeah, good responsiveness. They listen. They're not a yes person. I don't want people that are, oh yes, Alex, yes, yes. No, I mean you don't have to agree with me all the time, but just fully appreciate my knowledge and what I bring to the table. And then you make a decision based on what you feel comfortable with. And honesty and integrity is important.
All Nighter Hider says, yes, both for sure. When we compete, we drive each other further. Healthy and cooperative competition is the key.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we all push each other to get better.
I think one big takeaway a lot of the people did bring back from the in-person meetup was they were very, I guess, I don't know if it was confirming or their first-hand knowledge of it was how much hills there were in Pittsburgh, how hilly it was, and how they see that as preventing, new builds and development in a sense.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a challenge building new construction. In fact, you emailed me the other day for someone who was looking at doing new construction here, and it's really hard to. I've tinkered with it, and it's just I don't see how these folks do it. And the only ones really making money, I think, are these large companies coming in and buying and building like massive apartment complexes because through the economies of scale, I guess they keep their costs down. You know, but it's hard to do new construction here and make sense because of the cost involved and the amount of rent you can pull in.
I see. Hey, Brian tuning in. He says, "Hi, Mark. Hi, Alex." So Brian is working with Jeremy Taggart. I believe you guys are under contract, or he's under contract for that Troy Hills or Troy Hill property, I believe.
Oh,
That
okay.
duplex. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brian is doing a lot of good things with Jeremy.
Good.
Hey, Flavio. Good morning from Grandview, Washington. Yeah, and then me and Jeremy kind of dug into one of your listings the other week. I think it was that 7 unit. I don't want to say that individual got some bad maybe advice from their previous agent,
Hmm.
but we kind of dug into that and kind of talking about how it's important to vet the person you're working with so you don't end up in situations like that, right?
Correct. Correct.
Hyder says, not saying yes does not mean saying no. Just asking for clarification is a good way to communicate. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, so we talked about, the in-person meetup, like I said, the hills, but people was very surprised. I think I don't see Elena here, but she was there in person. Her big thing was she felt like this energy she was saying about Pittsburgh. Like she doesn't feel that same type of maybe dreariness with other lower cost markets, like housing markets, like where you go there and you just kind of get this dreary feeling in a sense. She just felt like there was so much energy and there was just so much opportunity coming towards Pittsburgh.
I'm glad she felt that way. I think, yeah, I met her because she was one of the only females there, and she was from New York, I think, right? She from New York? Yeah. Yep. She owned some properties like in the Caribbean or down south somewhere. I remember her telling me that. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty.
so she's looking to pivot, but she definitely liked that area. No, Hyder, not Lauren. That's Elena, not Lauren. Elaine. Hyder's trying to see. Um, and hold on, I'm trying to miss. Yeah. So I think the event was great. You know, Jack put it together kind of last minute in a sense. He got a lot of interaction. Is there anything that maybe you think he could maybe improve on in a sense, or other things he could add into it? I mean, I think he did a great job. He had like Jeremy guys drive around on a bus with them, showing them
Mhm.
locations. But anything else maybe you could suggest?
No, I think it was a great small venue. It was something you could grow on. Like I started with just we used to do them on a regular basis. We would basically start in like my office, and then we went to our conference room, and then we had a place that one of the hotels that we would rent out a room, and we had 30 or 40 people there sometimes on the bigger events. That's just a matter of just more people. That's all. It's the same content. And I wasn't there for the bus ride thing, but I've done one of those too, and those can be really fun to do, and a huge learning experience for some of the newbies, just to walk through properties and ask questions about this, and what kind of flooring do you use, and how much do these things cost to do, and what's the best way to spend your money, because it's so important to know where to spend your money, but also where not to spend your money, because you can over improve and then you can under improve, and there are certain things you can take shortcuts on, and certain things you can't. And sometimes those small little changes that you do or don't do really make a difference in your ROI, because it's such a small margin business. You're not going to get rich quickly. It's over time, and it's cumulative, and every little bit matters. You know, so you get to learn that over time. What's important, what isn't. But helping, I'd like to help investors um, delineate what's important and what isn't. It's really helpful.
I think I may have mentioned it to you also, but um, Mikey, he loved it so much. You know, he's it's moving
He's,
there is really
he's
something
thinking of
on the
moving.
plate. Yeah, so that is something definitely on the table for him. I'm
Moving
not
from
sure.
Hawaii to here. So he live in Hawaii or
Yep,
California?
he lives in Hawaii. Yeah, so
Huh.
I think he sees well because I think his ultimate long term plan is Japan because the wife is from Japan. Or yeah, so I think that's ultimately his plan, and because Japan's cost of living is so much lower,
Oh, really?
his financial, I guess, freedom number is a lot more manageable. And I
I
think for by him moving to Pittsburgh, he can really accelerate that process.
Right.
He could house hack and do some other things. So I definitely think he has Pittsburgh on the radar.
That's the price you pay. And I always tell people, and my kids, I said, you have to delay gratification. I know Mikey lives in Florida or Hawaii, and that's usually where people want to go to retire when you get rich and you go to Hawaii. And he's living there now, so he's willing to delay gratification, move to a different area. He doesn't have any friends or family here. Potentially move here, and that's because you have to sacrifice. There's sacrifice. There's nothing. You can't have everything and not have hurdles and pain and loss and it just and risk. You have to have all that. But that's what makes winning great, is when you get through all that. And then one thing I wanted to say is, well, Warren Buffett. I quote him sometimes because he's just an amazing human being. He says some of the best deals he's made are the ones he said no to. So learn how to say no. Like 99 deals probably aren't good. It's that one. And the important thing is knowing which one it is and what that one looks like. But don't be afraid to say no and move on to the next.
I think I'm not sure which Stephen this is. I believe this is Canada Stephen. So Stephen was there in the in-person meetup also. So he's trying to invest out of state or out of the country actually, while living in Canada. So he definitely had a great time at the event also too. So I think there's a lot of good takeaways. I think it was good for a lot of people to see it in person. So um, hey, what's up, Joe? Joe's gonna mention something, just like Kobe mentioned about my hat. I can't wear this hat too often, but the Bears have won 2 in a row, so I can wear it right now. So that's the good thing. So Joe's gonna comment on that pretty soon, I think.
Are you a
But
Bears fan?
I am a Bears fan, yes. So I'm actually also playing with. Just I want to reminder, I beat Jeremy Taggart last week in his fantasy league. He has not beaten me yet, and then I just beat his wife
Why,
last night.
why are you a Bears fan? Just where did that come from?
Um, just when I started watching football, the '85 Bears came. They won the Super
Oh,
Bowl, and then they came out with that rap video, and I was just like, oh, these
right.
guys, these guys
Okay.
are cool. And then ever since then, I like them. So,
Yeah, they
uh,
were a defensive powerhouse, man.
yes, yes. But I like Caleb Williams, so I think he'll figure it out. I like the coach.
Good.
But I
How about that Dallas game last night? Was it
don't.
Monday or Sunday? The Dallas
Yeah,
game. They
yeah.
tied with 40. That was insane.
Yeah, I mean, people are like, "Man, wasted 4 hours watching this game." But I was gonna talk. You're talking about making sacrifices and whatnot, but I think there is that kind of saying, right? You can have anything, right? It's just you can't have everything, right? So it's kind of like just sometimes you have to make choices, but there is opportunities out there, and you can pretty much have anything you want. It's just you can't have everything you want for the most part. Oh, I played Liam this week. All right, I'm gonna have to take down another one of these Pittsburgh people in the fantasy league. I just want to say Jeremy has never beaten me yet, I think.
You did mention that.
Yeah, he he gets so mad because Jeremy, every time I play him, like all his guys get hurt for some or are hurt. So he's always like, well, you only play me when they're hurt. And um which do oh, Kobe asks, do I value my Bears hat or Bucky's cup more? Which do I value more? Huh. Gonna have to say, man, I think the Bucky's cup is worth more, but I value the Bears hat more. Hey, what's up, Ike? Ike is tuning in. But yeah, kind of maybe pivoting off the in-person meetup in Pittsburgh. But I did mention, you'll be attending Vegas for the one rental at a time event in February. Also, Liam and Jeremy will be attending. So maybe what are you looking forward to that event?
I'm looking forward just to see what it's all about. To see excitement. Like going to Vegas. My wife loves Vegas, so she's coming. She's not coming to the event, but we'll do things in the evenings, and we'll spend a couple of days there when we're not, and hopefully spend some time with you guys after the event. So I'm just looking for just networking and getting to see what it's all about, having some fun there. What? Let me ask you a couple of questions. And how being an investor of how many years now? 5 years.
I mean, 5 in Pittsburgh, I would say. I mean, the same thing if you considered accidental landlord from, buying your primary residence and then converting that and that type of stuff, then, you know, 2010, but that was never like the plan, right? And I never considered myself an investor at that time.
You started to take it seriously,
Yeah,
like
like 2020, 2021. Yeah.
what, knowing what you know now and knowing what you used to know. What are some of the gold nuggets you can share with your audience on what you've learned and how they can reduce their learning curve by your knowledge and experience?
So I always have to be careful how I approach this because I think I tell everyone and I always make it known that I feel like I'm an outlier. I feel like I am not everyone has my demeanor in a sense towards investing to where things are just going to kind of roll off my back, and it's kind of let's just figure it out. So I don't want other people to think that, yeah, just get in there and you'll figure it out. I do think that's a way for a lot of people to want to quit, or they're not going to have not going to be in it for the long run. They're going to get in. It's not going to be as glamorous as they thought. It's not going to be as rewarding as they thought in the beginning. And it's like, I'm done with this. So I always have to be cautious how I answer that. So I always start with, saying I am definitely an outlier. I do realize that what I've done, a lot of people probably wouldn't have continued, going quickly or going so fast and making a lot of mistakes and kind of just weathering the storm. So I definitely put that out there. But I do think that taking action is critical. So even though I made a lot of mistakes, I feel taking action has also put me in a position to where I have a lot of levers to pull now. So even though I made a lot of mistakes and I probably could have been a lot more strategic and more, smarter about some of the moves I made, I think just taking action for me was the bottom line. And I think a lot of people don't realize how much they're going to learn from that first deal. And I think that's the most important thing, is just getting in there. Of course, you want to be, like you said, no, we don't want to be reckless. We want to be cautious, but get in there, and mistakes are going to happen. And that's where it's going to separate a lot of the investors, right? Is how you weather the storm, or how you're able to pivot or make decisions. And I think that's, for me, the most critical thing. But I think that all comes from just taking action and getting in there.
Yeah. So I got out of that perseverance, which is probably something, an attribute that you need in life in general, right? The more perseverance you have, the further you'll get. And taking action. That's what I got out of those two. I wrote those down.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I definitely make sure people realize that like I always say, I am an outlier. I think, and I think, like Ike, who's also a firefighter in here, or even first responders. I think sometimes it's just that's kind of the way we approach things. A lot of times, we don't always have the answer. We're never gonna know the full situation. We don't know what's behind the door. We can kind of see from the outside, but we just kind of have to figure it out. And we kind of just we don't want to leave the situation worse than when we arrived, right? So that's kind of my biggest takeaway.
Hmm.
Um, um, are you? Oh, I always have to try to translate what Flavio is messaging, but I think I may have mentioned it to you. I'm not sure when you're arriving in Vegas, but Flavio is asking, um, Alex, are you going to Denny's? So if you haven't heard, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with Dion, um, the Lazy Investor. He is a keynote speaker at the Bigger Pockets event this year, and he just came out with his the Lazy Investor book.
Hmm.
But he kind of has a midnight at Denny's tradition in Vegas.
Hmm.
So Wednesday, Thursday, midnight at Denny's is kind of a meetup place. Kind of a lot of people after they've had their fun out on the strip or the town, and they kind of meet up at Denny's and relax and maybe have a late snack. But everyone kind of just hangs out. So a lot of the kind of get your an icebreaker before the actual event on Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, I see. So the
So
Wednesday or Thursday before the
yeah,
Saturday and Sunday event. Okay.
yeah.
I
So
probably won't be there. I think we haven't solidified anything yet, but we're probably not coming in until Thursday. But that's up to the wife. She makes all the plans.
So, and then my guest yesterday on the live stream was Brandon Potts. He's going to be one of the speakers on Sunday, and he was like, "Man, I can't even make it to midnight. That's so late." And but so there might be a Friday Friday morning coffee meetup.
That
So
might be better for me too.
yeah, so that's what he's trying to put together. Let's see here. Charles McCune says J6 smart, pretty, and aggressive isn't a handicap. uh, Charles says in the 80s we called our local fire department foundation savers. Jovi Atypical says firefighters make lots of mistakes. That's why they're not cops. As we can tell, we know what Jovi's profession was before. Um, let's see. John Litz, Deconstructing Dreams. Hope your eye is getting better. I know he had some retina issues. Uh, Keith says, can I be considered a firefighter anymore? I wear Crocs and sit behind a computer all day now because I have an injured shoulder. So yes, to that point, I have not been at work since March. I've been out on workers' comp. I tore my rotator cuff. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if I even return to work. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I actually got some confirmation with the retirement people based on just so in our field, a lot of times the fire department you hear things like, oh, you're entitled this much at this many years of service, you're entitled this much from your medical, and it's always good to confirm. So that's also something I want to put out there. Anyone that has retirement plans, they want to always check with the retirement system first, get confirmation, because they were mentioning to me there's people that has retired early, but they didn't actually hit certain requirements that they thought they did during their calculations. So some people retired like a month too early and weren't entitled their benefits.
Oh,
So yeah, so it's always good to call, get confirmation on things. So yeah, a lot of the stuff I've heard is confirmed, so
man.
that is the good thing. So we'll see. Um, he's surprised they haven't locked me out of the firehouse yet. He said. Yeah, so John Litz, Deconstructing Dreams, says he went blind. He has 4 surgeries. 2 weeks later, he's back at work. So yeah, he had a detached retina. So he's been kind of hopefully glad things have been working out. He says he's not sure though, I believe, if it will ever be 100%. But good thing, John. But I'm sure seeing me on camera makes your eyes feel better. So hopefully that helps. Yeah, I mean, so like I said, Vegas is on the table. We'll get more confirmation, when you're coming in, but definitely excited to see you at the event and others that will be attending. Hopefully, if you do have questions, you'll seek out Alex, Jeremy, Liam. They're a wealth of knowledge for the Pittsburgh area. Yeah, so I mean, maybe we can kind of just roll into maybe what you're seeing in Pittsburgh right now. Is there any updated information how the market's doing, stuff like that?
Well, before I forget, because um, I have a YouTube channel. It's Alex Deacon YouTube. If you could go there and just
Yeah. Oh,
do, do what you're supposed to do. I have like 88 subscribers. Am I saying that right? That's a subscriber?
yep. So I have it's
89.
at the it's
89.
at the it's at the beginning of the chat. So let's go put it in here again. So everyone
I want to get up to
go.
100.
Yeah, let's get Alex to 100, and then
I'm going after Mr. Beast.
oh man.
I'm
Oh,
going.
I did want to say, so I did finally get monetized. So I did get my first payout from
Really?
YouTube. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like $106.
That's phenomenal.
So hopefully that keeps trending upwards.
That's amazing.
But what I do have to get better at is
What will I get after 100? Maybe like 16 cents? Did I get anything for 100?
no, you got to get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in 365-day time periods.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I got
like
some work to do.
yeah, so everyone has a different. Some people, it's the subscribers they have a hard time with, and then some people, it's like the watch hours. So like I said, like Brandon, who was on yesterday speaking, he's having a hard time getting the watch hours.
I see.
But his subscriber count is doing great, but he's not getting yeah, yes, Hyder. So I actually told, well, I didn't message you, but I told them first round of drinks is on me in Vegas. Um, let's see.
With all that cheese you're bringing in now, 100.
Yeah. Well, hopefully so that's what I was gonna say. This I do need to get better at. I need to get more like Amazon links, like products that I use and put the links.
Okay.
But also part of my vision for getting the channel monetized was now when I go travel and I make videos, I can say it's for my channel. That's like a business because the channel brings in revenue. It's a monetized channel. So now when I make videos or stream from wherever I'm traveling
Yeah.
and it's content for my channel, then now I can write off, or it's a business expense
Oh,
that
right.
I can write off.
There
So
you go.
that's part of the plan. So like when I do finally get to Pittsburgh, I'll make content, put it on my channel, and I'll say,
Yeah.
this is a business expense. Let's see. All right, we doesn't look like we got much more questions, but yeah, I think this was a good short. Like I said, people had a great time. Another thing people mentioned about Pittsburgh was the roads. Like they got firsthand experience of, I don't know. I think it was like left turns or something. Is there something with like left turns or just that the road just turns left all of a sudden in a lot of places, or is it difficult to drive there?
Nah, not for me.
Okay, for someone that's new there, is it difficult to drive? Let's see. Uh, all right. Money for ice pack for my shoulder. Nope. Yeah, I don't. I had to return the ice compression machine. Um. Yeah. I don't know. I never heard of. They sent me some of the places they went to eat. I can't remember where they were eating at and hanging out, but I think that there was a lot of positive feedback. They even went. So a lot of them are finding interest in the Butler area. So they actually went late at night to check it out to see what kind of crowds are in Butler late at night.
Okay.
So but they definitely a lot of them are interested in that location or that area or zip code. But yeah, Jeremy did a great job breaking down the neighborhoods. So Elena did a great job also, she recorded Jeremy on the bus, so she kind of broke it down and kind of in our little chat thing, she broke down the neighborhoods. I don't know. So JSIC, the AI guy, is asking. I guess he's just Is there current trend in the Pittsburgh market? Is there anything you're seeing right now specifically? Pittsburgh is the market picking up with rates kind of softening a little bit, or this time of year is it a challenge?
I think the residential market is slowing down. So that's residential, meaning these are houses that you're buying to live in and raise your kids and call home. I think that's slowing down, more equalizing to normal instead of strictly a seller's market. But it seems like the investor market, which is single family homes that are prone to being a good investment to rent out, and multifamily, seems to be very strong because of venues like this and venues all across the globe. People are still buying here because it's affordable and it's a good city. So that is making it more challenging to buy here just because of the competition. But that's fine. You just have to be ready for it and be ready to pounce when a good deal does come up. So the market's strong right now.
Yeah, I still feel there's always deals coming through. Like it's almost like you have more deals than we can take on right now. Even like Jeremy, like I said, Brian, who was here earlier, just got under contract, which for one that I was maybe considering squeezing in, but talking about competition and whatnot, I was like, I hope Brian takes it on. That way I don't have to figure out how to do it. I was like, it's just a good deal. And I mean, I could probably try and squeeze it in, but hopefully Brian will take it on. And he did. So I'm glad someone from the community was able to get the property. Um, Hey, Nick's here, Coach Massey. What's up, man? How's everything going? Um, I don't know. Do you invest in other asset classes, Alex? I'm not really sure. I know you do a lot of real estate, but do you do Bitcoin, gold,
I have
stocks?
one stock and it's Amazon, and that's all I have.
All right. So Nick, who's tuning in, has a YouTube channel also, but he's a Bitcoin guy. He believes in real estate. I mean, that's where he did the house hack thing in California. But he has gone all in on Bitcoin. He sold a lot of his real estate. He's doing covered calls on Bitcoin, but he is killing it right now. But he is also a basketball coach in California area. He said he's coached a lot of WNBA players. He says, nice Bitcoin pump today. Yeah. Let me see if I can find his channel. Hold on. Where is it? Here it is. That's there. So people that haven't, go subscribe. Here is also Deconstructing Dreams channel. I'm not sure if he's put anything out recently, but he's doing a lot of cool Airbnb stuff in Reno, Nevada.
Hmm?
So if you need a place to stay, go check out his listing. I think that's another question. I'm surprised John hasn't asked it maybe, but is Airbnb or short-term rentals big in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I'm probably not the guy to ask. I think Liam is a good resource for that because he does some. Jeremy has a couple. I know a lot of people who are quite successful at it. I just never dove into that. Like I said, I try to kind of stay in my lane, and I'm good with just not deviating from my business model, which is just longer term rentals.
Um, Deconstructing Dreams says doctor said seeing a short Hawaiian in Crocs caused my eye to go black from all the fugly. Yeah. So I will introduce you to John in Vega. He's a grumpy old man, definitely. See, Hyder, I just read it. Yeah, like I said, I think the community is very thankful for you, Jeremy and Liam, always sharing your knowledge, willing to answer a lot of people's questions, even coming on these live streams. I know it takes time out of your guys' business, your busy schedule. So I'm always glad that you guys are willing to do this. But I think it's been great working together. I think a lot of people do see the knowledge and resource that you guys are bringing, and hopefully more people will be able to pull the trigger soon. I know people are still trying to navigate through the market and kind of get their buy box a little bit in order, but I think we definitely have the resources there for everyone to do well.
Maybe next time what we'll do is we can pick a specific topic, like we'll be more specific, and I'll be more prepared for it. So this way we can really get into some good content that people can basically take right from this stream and use in their everyday investing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'll think of a topic and I'll run it by you, and then I'll be more prepared so we can really start hammering out some questions and get to the meat and potatoes. That's going to be some really good, useful content. Not that this was some good and useful, but just I like to be more proficient and add more value. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always open. It's usually whatever the guests would rather talk about. I'm always down for that. So it takes stuff off my plate trying to figure out what we're going to talk about. So yeah, if there's anything that you see in the market that you're interested in sharing, or
I have some.
even if it's a listing, if you have something you want to walk through,
Yeah, that's a good
um,
idea. We could walk through some. So, can you share a screen? Can you share
yeah.
like PowerPoint or pictures and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I can, or usually you have the option also to share it. So whatever, and then if we're going to share it, I'll probably change the format so we're in the landscape view, so it's easier to see the
All right.
screen.
Yeah,
And then
that
yeah,
would be
we
good.
can walk through we can walk through deals, we can walk through any
Yeah, that's super helpful. I've
yeah,
done that a lot, and people really appreciate it.
yeah,
Like we literally go through pictures, and I point out things that they're not seeing, and they're like, "Oh, I never thought of that." Oh, okay. Now I get it. That's helpful. So I'll work on that, and then we can do one maybe in October at some point.
yeah, definitely. Like I said, Jeremy we kind of walked through that property, your listing, just to kind of show how working with the wrong investor or agent can really put you in a bad spot, right? And but yeah, it's like anything that comes on your table that you think even worth to share, like someone might want to jump on it, right? But yeah, definitely, yeah, bring it up, let me know, and we'll schedule another one. And everyone, thanks for tuning in. I will be back Friday with the one and only Dion. Um, I'm going to do fractional real estate on Friday with Joseph, my regular with Joseph Cachapalia, but he wanted someone to push back against fractional real estate And I was like, I have the perfect person for you. I'm sure Dion will come in with his Dionism. So tune in on Friday, and everyone, I will have a great rest of the day. Thanks.